By the way, Surya, that's Hypatia. She is this mathematician in Alexandria,
Alexandria.
AD,
Okay.
Library of Alexandria in Egypt. Anyway.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's amazing. I spent
Wow.
even a day there.
That's crazy.
Wow, that is so cool.
I would love to go there. But
I thought her name was Hypatia though. I did a play where.
Oh, Hypatia is actually how it's pronounced in Greece.
Ah, okay. So we did. Basically, she gets killed also, as you can imagine, by the mob. Also happened, unfortunately. Sorry, we did that in the play. That's the part I was saying.
Very negative, Greece. Don't be so negative.
It's the end that we are all going for, but anyway, minus the violence part.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Other Side and to our new episode, which is inspired by all these stand-up comics who go on YouTube live. We didn't have the guts to go live, so this is a recording, obviously. Our guests today are two alums from IIT Madras who graduated in 2013, Girish and Nitin. Girish is currently the COO of People, and Nitin is Dr. Nitin Sivadas, who recently got his PhD. So Girish, Nitin, I'm thrilled to welcome you to The Other Side and so glad to finally do this episode after a lot of planning.
Thanks, Surya. It's fantastic to be on as well.
Thanks, Surya. I'm excited.
Okay, so I thought we could just get started by talking about how you both remember IITM by. I have not been to campus for 6-7 months now. And yesterday I just forgot that Himalaya is the mess and I thought it was the mountain. So yeah, I think we are in the same boat right now.
No, so you know that they used to call IIT the land of moving mountains and stationary rivers. So because the buses were actually named after mountains for a while. No, I actually think that IITM is a wonderful place for anyone to be in for 4 years, simply because it is, when you are 24 hours, 365 days a year in one campus with extremely bright others who come from diverse set of backgrounds, I actually think IITM is simply a huge opportunity, if I am to put it in one word.
Yeah, your word is ended now. Okay. So that's I agree with Girish. In particular, what I remember IIT by is my relationships that I formed, and those have been deep and long lasting. And there is a diversity of people, so everybody is going to find the kind of people that they get along with no matter what. And I think it offers enormous opportunities as an institution. So if you are willing to ask, you can do whatever you want, and it gives you a lot of social capital that you can use. So everybody will be like, TIFR will be like, oh, IIT students are coming, we can give you some attention, and ISRO will do the same. Any research organization you want to go to. So yeah.
I think one thing that I wanted to discuss is it's been 4 years for me already on campus, and this new batch of freshies will probably come in October or something. So if there was one thing you would tell someone who's entering IIT, that this is definitely something you have to do during your 4 years on campus, even if you miss out on something else, what would that one thing be?
I think for me, what I would say is spend time finding what you like doing and who you are. And what that means, to make it real, is that it may not be what the campus naturally invites you to do. For instance, if you look at what I had opportunities. I remember there was once where I had an opportunity to become part of the Sarang team, right, where there were doors opened on the Shastra side, and these are things that the campus naturally promotes, right? But having that or investing in that clarity to say, where is it that I want to spend my time? Where is it that I want to spend my energy in? And what actually gives me the real kick and that real happiness, right? I mean, there's an organization, I recently heard this, which stayed with me, which is why you do something is for meaning, learning, joy, or pride, right? So what gives you that meaning, learning, joy, or pride is what I would tell them to explore and find. Nitin?
Just one thing. So generally the path which I've seen people follow for this is that they eliminate. They try one thing, it doesn't work out, they eliminate that. They go try another thing, okay, I'm not really happy with this, they eliminate that too. Is there some other way to do it? Like, did you actually introspect, figure out, okay, this is what I'm good at, this is what is available, and both of them come together, maybe I should like this? Or did you just eliminate things?
Nitin, do you want to take this one?
Yeah. So, no, it's a very valid point that a lot of things will have to be done as trial and error, because you really don't know what are the things that, match with you and what makes you joyed and overjoyed unless you try it. But there is this other perspective of introspection, and where you've got to spend time with yourself as much as you can to think about over the years. Like, it's, you didn't just get birthed into IIT. You had 18 years or 17 years of your life, which are as important, as the future. And you will notice, if you introspect, you will notice the things that gave you joy and meaning. And if you can then anchor on that and then experiment with things in IIT, all these opportunities in IIT that sort of allow you to explore those things that gave you joy, you might find it sooner. And this it that I think one must find, there are many definitions of it, right? Like, people say, find your calling,
Find your passion.
I don't find your passion. And in my experience, like, I was mentioning to Girish just now that, finding your music is how I could metaphorize it, because music gives you, like, a musician plays music because they enjoy it. And life is also similar, because like we said, there is no end. Like, the end of life is the same for everyone, right? So we are not going towards a destination.
And when the music ends, it's over.
Yeah. So the finding that music, I feel it gives you the most meaning. And usually if you find it, then you are also contributing really well, right? Because you enjoy and you find meaning in this. And for many people, it might not be one thing either, right? It might be many things. I mean, they want to have relationships with people that's rewarding. They want to cook food that's rewarding. They want to hike. And you're recognizing that there are these multi-dimensional sort of facets for what gives a fulfilling life is also something you can do in IIT. There is so much freedom. You are safeguarded by everyone around you. And also you have the security, because once you get out of IIT, you will have some job to fall on, and pick yourself up and then decide your career.
Let me actually give you a couple of examples there, right? And these were things that are fascinating to realize, right? So there was this guy, and somewhere there is an element of, to answer your question, there is an element of trial and error. There is also an element of introspection. So like, I like calling it action reflection. So there was a friend of mine, or there is someone who I know from campus, who, when in campus, early years, first couple of years, he may not have stood out as much. He was someone who may have stood out as the backbencher, or someone who's like, yeah, okay, what is this guy doing here? He doesn't belong, right? Rough-edged. End of the fourth year, he was probably one of the top photographers on campus, right? I know people who have discovered that they can actually sing like a god, right? While in campus, right? So these are things that, you explore and you get there. And when I was in IVIL, I think one of those things that one thing that I think is important for people to know is about exploring yourself, going deeper, as well as exploring others and building an understanding, a deeper understanding of other people. Because like Nitin said, you didn't get born into IIT. Everyone on campus probably has 18, or in fact, like if you're a postgraduate, even more, 5 6 years more of experience, and having understanding their lives and understanding their choices, kind of like how you're doing it on the other side, right? But life is what can also help you um, make your decisions or understand your core better.
Yeah, so interesting that you mentioned that. My next question was going to be about the fact that so many times in Insti, at least from my experience, when people talk to other people, they have a purpose behind it. Some kind of thing that I'll get something from this guy in the future, or maybe fun days, could be anything. And it's not just say for the sake of becoming friends with him or understanding his life better. What is your take on this? Was it the same in your time, or is this just something that's happened with the new generation?
Two thoughts from my side, and Nitin, you should add on. One is when I look at the world out here, right where I am, actually, there is a lot of give and take, right? But it isn't transactional. It is purely where you have an opportunity to give, you give, and when you need something, you ask. And because you have built a virtuous cycle of support around you, you are able to help each other. And second, I think when I zoom in on campus and how that life used to be, I don't know. I mean, I think one thing personally I have never managed to learn is how to go ask somebody for fun days. Right? Usually I've just gone and, there have been people who help and it
Yeah.
has been figured out, right? Or in many cases, like, for example, Nitin helped structure a situation where I was leading NSS and the entire revamp, right? Because he believed that I could do something useful out of it and gave me that opportunity, right? So I actually think that at least where I mean, all through my life, including at IIT Madras, um, there has been an implicit give and take, but it hasn't been the purpose. It has been a byproduct of trust and mutual respect.
You don't need to necessarily see this in this way, because we all have our own individual abilities. Many of the people who do get into IITs and also generally higher education are already really talented in many things, and that's why they're there. So if instead you looked at it through a cooperative lens and a collaborative lens, I think you will be able to do much more because you affect other people's lives in better ways, and their actual contributions, you've played some role in it, and they might reciprocate. I mean, they need not, but they might reciprocate, and you have that culture going, which then can let you do greater things.
Let me make that a little bit more real, I guess, from a campus perspective also, right? It is that when you're in your fourth year or fifth year, or whether it's, wherever you are, being that person who listens and genuinely tries to understand and share your perspective to help the other person, provides opportunities, right? Provides the right insights and input to enable them to be who they need to be. I think that is what is at the core of it. In fact, if you look at the organization that I work in today, which is People, we work on transforming education in government systems. Our vision statement is to enable every child to live up to their potential, right? And that's kind of what you do when you build that virtuous cycle where you're helping each other go on your own paths, but amplify that. And Nitin and I are a great example of that, right? I mean, I have learned so much from Nitin, his perspective, all the, the copious amounts of books that he reads and the deep perspectives he shares. And in some measure, I think I have done the same for him in terms of helping him see things differently.
Yeah, that reminds me, Girish. One of the things is that introspection can be made much better when you have somebody else with you who can see you from the outside, because you have a limited view of yourself. And Girish and I have spent countless hours on top of like the engineering design building on top of the physics building. Did we ever go to the water tank? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Dead right now, but we have. Many of us have been on top of the water tank.
Before it was forbidden. So
Before it was forbidden. I mean,
yeah.
I think it was forbidden then too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but you don't say that in the recording, do you?
I don't know. Yeah. So I think a lot of our bonding was through the constant, like the introspection that we did together.
I'm actually curious about two things. The first thing is IITs, at least from my experience, we have a very fast-paced life. Like when I talk to people, they say we have work for 17 hours. Okay, you are on the other side now, so you may not be able to relate. But from what I'm feeling, we feel like we're busy all day. So how do you go about the process of reflection and introspection?
I'm surprised. I think one thing that I would say is that, at least my experience was that in IITM, we get to decide what we spend our time on. There is, as a percentage, time that is structured by other people for us is very less.
That is true, but don't you feel that as people, we put a lot on our bucket ourselves? Like, I want to do this, I want to do that too.
And that is brilliant. I actually think that that's a great thing. And one of those things that Nitin has taught me to understand around the world differently is that, and I hold this as a thumb rule now, which is work, relationships, health is how most people typically go about things. And Nitin's push to me, and that's how I have, especially when I was working at McKinsey, when I was working, actually anytime, it's a personal thing where I put that as my priority. And Nitin's push to me has been that, look, it needs to be the other way: health, relationships, and then work. And if you look at it from a sustainability perspective, that's actually the best thing to do. Because honestly, there have been nights when I'm like, okay, I have a splitting headache, or oh my God, I'm losing hair. I wish I had slept more over the many years. Right? So in some sense, introspection also falls within that category of making time for yourself and structure it, and it will fit in. It's a matter of priority.
Yes.
So I want to add to that though, because it's a very good question. About like how can you there's so many things to do and you have limited time. And anecdotally, like from my experience, like I sacrificed a lot of things that other people might not sacrifice. Like I didn't spend time with my hostel mates. Like if nobody probably knows that I'm from Tatti, who were in Tatti at that time. And I had to pick and choose. So I chose IITM SAT, I chose NSS, I chose the relationships there. I chose relationships outside. For example, like people do tend to get together with the people from their hometown, and those would be priority. I was like, no, IITM SAT once we had every single individual from a different state. So, and we were close, and it was exciting for me. So we have to make those priorities. I took a hit on academics, for example, which I wish I hadn't. I wish I had spent a lot more time on that, because as a researcher, that's what helps me, propel, not necessarily the other things, but, I'm here.
So I'll just segue into something else. I think we touched upon this when we were chatting informally. And you both seem very insistent on it being an important thing. So the question is, how did you maintain your individuality while you're on campus? Like a lot of things pull you in different directions. A lot of people who you look up to do particular things, and you think that's the right path for you, but may not be. So how can someone stay true to themselves, so as to say?
That's a very, very, very solid question. I think it is, honestly, I think I will go back to action reflection and that space for introspection.
I want to take a shot at this. So the culture that we grow up in in general, especially for IITians who go through coaching classes and so on. Do not allow them the space or time to know their individual self as much, because you're already just trying to get, pass these exams, get to IIT. So many people who do come to IIT do feel the lack or a hole in their individuality, and therefore it is easier to just go and fall into something, and like attached to some, Sarang or Shastra or ITM SAT or whatever, and then make it a part of your individuality. It can coincide with who you really are, which is great if it does. But then you need to, so the first step is to find really like who you are as a person, and what are your things that excite you, what are the things that make you sad, all of those things. And the second thing is, once you have that sense, you need to realize that your individuality, because how diverse human beings are, that is something unique. And hence, no matter what team you are in, that uniqueness that you've identified will be a big contributor, and people will appreciate that. So you don't need to shun it away. So you look around and you are like, oh, you're this literary, genius. Like, you love reading and you love elocution. And then you look around and everybody's doing tech stuff and, Sarang, and you're like, oh, Sarang is too beneath my taste. You might feel this. Doesn't mean you have to then throw it away to fit in. You can hold on to that and you can work towards it. Even if you are struggling and you feel that pressure to be fit in, you don't have to. Find those friends who appreciate those qualities in you, and use them as an energy source.
Good.
Bang on. Like, fully agree. I think the one thing I really want to say is that I have been in situations where I have not been able to be truly myself at work, right? And when I couldn't display my identity, when I had to wear a badge or a garb that was not me, it gets extremely draining, right? And that I actually feel very strongly about, saying, I used to tell people that I'm doing well. And when I'm being myself, I'm able to tell people I'm happy, right? Doing what I'm doing. And I think that's a very important thing for people to feel, in campus or beyond, right? This is who I am. This is what I like, right? And, I'm sorry if this doesn't suit you, but I'm happy with this.
So this is me, accept me the way I am, kind of.
Again, without being pain about it, right? So there is a line to be drawn between saying I evolve as a person, and this is my identity, and I'm willing to take feedback to get better, versus being static and stubborn in who you are.
Yeah,
makes sense.
To add, individuality is one thing, but an identity is slightly different. So your individuality, which is all those qualities, in you that make you different and make you a better person, is something you need to hold on to. You can change your character a little bit to be a good person, be good with others. And I just want to interject this example that I had when I was young, before IIT. So I had gone into a repeating so I repeated for IIT in order to write the exam again, because initially I did not know I wanted to go to IIT. And I just did my board exams, and I had a lot of difficulties with my family. So I wanted to stay away from my home and then do this. So in that place, coaching center, the whoever is the head of the coaching center, basically had a structure of how to be trained for IIT, and that was all these multiple options. You memorize all these questions and answers. And 2 weeks later, I was like, this is definitely not who I am, and I don't even think this is how you will get into IIT. So I walked up to his room and I said, hey, if you teach like this, I don't think I am getting into IIT. So, let's make a compromise here. You give me, I'll stay at my hostel. I'll come and take your exams. but I don't want to waste time in these classes. I'm going to read brilliant tutorials like the book from, whatever, Chennai, and I'll study by myself. And he told me, if you have this kind of attitude, you're never going to get into IIT. This is all waste. And, but I'll let you do it. So he let me do it. And I was like number 2 rank or something from the place that I got into JEE. But point is, I was just clear about what my qualities were, what are the environments where I will not shine and I'll not do good. And I walked away from that environment. I didn't want to make anybody unhappy. But because this was not, what I really could shine in or excel in, I just moved away.
So I thought I'll just make a segue into your latter years at IIT, both of yours. Nitin, you of course spent, I think, an extra 1 year working on IIT SAT after you graduated. So first I'll come to Girish, then I'll come to you. So Girish, how was the entire decision-making process? Like, what were you going to do after IIT? When did you decide this? Did you ever decide it, or did you just say, okay, these are the options, let me just pick something and go ahead?
Where, to be very honest with you, in my 4th year of my mechanical engineering, I was extremely focused on ensuring continuity and succession for IVIL and NSS. And I was so busy looking after the future of IVIL. I think it was January that year, and suddenly I'm like, oh, guys, you applied to colleges in the US and you've gotten in. Like, what's happening? When did all this happen? What did I miss? And that's when I actually had this moment where I need to figure out what I'm planning to do. Right. I had applied to Young India Fellowship and I already had an ITC offer. Needed to decide between the two. Later, I got a CAT form because a friend of mine was going and I needed to talk to him. So I got onto the bus and went with him to the bank. Got the CAT form, studied for a week sitting in Nitin's lab, which was my oasis of peace. And you know how it is with, the CAT being an exam after so many years of prepping for IIT. CAT was relatively simple, thankfully, because I also had a good grasp of the English language. And hence got in, and there was the societal push also to say, why don't you go into the IIMA because that's what you've gotten. One piece of advice I would give is I did take a lot out of the IIM experience, but if you were to ask me today, should I join right after campus, I would actually say work for a couple of years if you can. Why I say that is because I feel I could have taken more if I could be more selective about what I wanted out of campus and had clarity. I was studying because I was used to studying, right? And I was learning business taxation before I'd filed a single tax return. So to make it more real, it may be better to join later, but that's a personal decision with its own complexities for whoever it is that is writing the exam.
Got it. Understood. So I'll just move to Nitin and then come back to both of you. So Nitin, you had actually spent 6 years on campus, 1 year after graduation, working on IIT SAT. So I just wanted to know, when did you start thinking about your future, and did you ever feel any peer pressure or family pressure or pressure from other sides about making the decision to stay an extra year?
Yeah. So because IIT SAT was such an intense project, it definitely meant a lot to us. And for me, I was just thinking about only trying to do whatever it takes to get it successful. And in my mind, that meant that I needed to leave campus at some point, and I need to hand over this to other students because the whole purpose in my mind for this project was not for me or whoever built it achieving something. It was to create a long-term thing that went through generations, and generations got to learn and experience this, this whole process. So I knew that I had to spend a year after my dual degree by the way, I was actually a BTech student who became dual degree. So for IIT MSAT, then I was like, after dual degree, and my profs were very happy to have me, because if there was this, when senior members leave, it's really hard to continue on things. And this is true NSS, IBL, like all of these, we have had these issues when people who have invested a lot of time leave suddenly. It's really hard to have this continuity, and that's something that especially institutions in Insti face. So hence my thinking about what I want to do in the future happened in the 5th year, and then the 6th year that I was a project officer. And I made the decision that I did a lot of engineering and project management through IIT. And now I really wanted to go towards something I felt was my calling, which was science, and discovering something that's not known and making a tiny contribution into the body of knowledge, right? So I decided, okay, I'm going to apply to do a PhD in this particular area that I like, which I started liking because of IIT MSAT. So IIT MSAT was going to make measurements of plasma around the Earth. And I learned a lot about it in that process. We built this detector to make those measurements. So I decided I want to do a PhD in that area, and it would be cool. Now, regarding peer pressure, this is where it comes. I surrounded myself with people that understand me. In institute, at my home, I'm lucky to have my parents who understand me. So from them, there was just broad support. Like, we will catch you if you fall, right? And that's what's letting me do anything, and which is why I think it's so crucial to build that network, who understand you, care for you, and who will support your eccentricity. And it was, and therefore, even though other people were graduating, like one of my good friends in aerospace, she went to Stanford, everybody was there. I would have felt, if I didn't have anybody supporting me, pretty bad. And I would have felt like, oh no, I shouldn't be doing this. But that wasn't a thing for me. And because I invested in those people,